What you're looking at here is the DE202AF Dynafold paper folder. This particular paper folder is capable of loading up to 500 sheets of paper. It can be adjusted for various size paper thickness. It can handle anywhere from 16-pound paper, which is fairly thin, up to 40-pound paper, which is about twice as thick as standard copy paper. This particular paper folder uses a friction feed system, which means it uses rubber rollers to actually pull the paper into the machine and fold the paper. It does not work very well with glossy paper because it does use friction, and glossy paper is fairly slick. The paper cannot be pulled properly into the machine and will cause paper jams. So again, do not use this with glossy paper. This particular paper folder is very popular with schools, with businesses, copy stations, copy centers, print shops. It's very popular for pretty much any area where you're going to be sending out mailers, or you'll need to fold invitations or brochures. It can be used for a wide variety of paper folding. Now this particular paper folder is especially nice because it does have 3 friction rollers that pull the paper fairly evenly into the machine. Some other models use just one single friction roller, which can cause a little bit of shift in the paper, and because there are 3 of them, the end result will look very good. The DE202AF uses 2 folding plates, this one up here, and there's one more down here in the back, to actually fold paper. Now, if you're doing a single fold, you will only be using one of those plates. If you're doing a C fold, a Z fold, 2 folds are required, and so both folding plates will be utilized. The power switch is very easy to see. It's right down here, and you just flip it over to start, and the light will glow a dim red. And then up here, you can turn the actual feeder up here on by switching it to the on position. Now there's no paper in here, so it's not going to turn on. There is a little micro switch here that when it's pushed down, it starts the machine up. So when the paper is empty, when the paper tray is empty, or the machine no longer detects paper, it will turn the machine off. That means that you can leave the machine and do something else, even though I do not recommend leaving the machine for any great period of time. But if it does finish while you're away, it will turn the machine off and will cause less wear and tear on your motor. We're going to be using 8.5 by 11 paper, which is more than likely what 80-85% of people use on a daily basis. And if you look right here, there is a paper size chart that will let you know exactly where you need to set the paper, and will let you know exactly where you need to set the fold plates to do a C fold, a Z fold, a single fold. And you basically just loosen up these screws here, and the fold plate slides back and forth. Now you'll see a series of numbers, some in orange and some in black, and these numbers are basically letting you know where you need to set the folding plate. We are going to be folding an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, which column can be seen here. There's also a column for 6 by 9, 8.5 by 14, and 11 by 17. Now we will begin by doing a C fold, which when we look at the picture here, we can see that the C fold is right here, the third one down, which means we need the fold plates to be on 5, on tray 1, and on the letter E on tray 2. So we will find the number 5 along here, which is right there, this orange number right here. And so you want that folding plate to be almost right on that line, and then tighten it up. We want both sides to be pretty even in order to keep the paper that's going through the machine even as well. So we'll tighten those screws down. The second tray needs to be set to the letter E, which is right here. It's in orange as well. So slide it up to that, tighten the screw down. On the other side, again, making sure that it's even, and I'll tighten that screw down as well. Now you're going to want to make sure that the feed switch is off, because if it's on and that switch is pushed down, it will activate the machine and it'll start pulling paper through before you're ready. So leave that off. Now the feed tray does push down, which means you don't have to manually fan the paper, which is especially nice. Now this can hold up to 500 sheets of paper, and it also includes indicator lines here That's where you need to set these side guides for the different types of paper. It includes some for A3, B4, A4, and B5 size paper. 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Pretty much I like to set it right into the machine, slide it in, and if the side guides aren't just right, you can actually loosen them up, and they slide back and forth very easily. Now, once you have them against the paper, make sure that the 3 rollers fit on there pretty well so that they're centered in the middle of the paper, because you want pretty much equal force grabbing from all 3 rollers across the paper. Once you have the side guides set, tighten them down. Again, make sure you don't tighten them up too tight with the paper, or they'll actually hold the paper in place. The rollers will not be able to pull the paper through the machine. Now the paper's in place, all the adjustments have been made for a C fold, and we're now good to start the machine up. And now it does just throw all the paper into a catch tray, but you just grab the paper, pull it out, and you have a nice C fold, which is perfect for mailers and letters. Now the adjustments for a single fold are fairly easy. The top tray here needs to have, again, the 2 screws loosened, and it needs to be pushed all the way in, and it will hit a plate turning off tray 1. Again, we only need 1 fold plate for a single fold. Now if you look at the chart here, you'll see that for a single fold we need tray 2 on the letter M. So I will loosen these 2 screws here. You can see that the letter M is right here. So I'll adjust the folding plate until it sits right on that letter M and tighten that up. Again, you'll want that to be even. Make sure that the paper is in place. And we're now good to go. We can now start folding 8.5 by 11 paper into a single fold. And once the paper is done being folded, it will turn the machine off, as the micro switch is no longer being pushed. Now turn the feed switch to an off position. You can now pull the paper out. You now have an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper folded 1 time down the middle for a single fold, which is perfect for creating flyers, cards, and a wide variety of other paper products. So there you have the Dynafold DE202AF paper folder, an excellent machine for your entry to mid-volume paper folding job.